Welcome, everybody. This is April.ranallo. I work for Fairway Independent Mortgage. I am a residential loan officer that can help either purchase or refinance clients in all 50 states. So those that are relocating, looking for a second home, happy to help them as well. But today I have Shalimar on here, who is my queen bee marketing girl and knows social media in and out 80 times better than I do. That's why I have her. So she's going to teach you guys all the things you need to know to build the clientele, stay in contact with the clientele, and become a market expert. So Shalimar, thanks for doing this, girl, and I'm going to let you take it away.
Oh, I love that title you gave me. Thank you. That was such a flattering. Yeah, Queen Bee Marketing. I love it. All right. So I actually own a marketing agency, but I've been in the mortgage and real estate marketing space for 16 years. And what I found especially in the last 6 months or so, is that a lot of realtors and loan officers are just figuring out, like, how do I have a voice? Because unfortunately, social media isn't as precious as it used to be. So if you just had a profile, or if you at least participated, you were already light years ahead of everyone else, because a lot of people were just like really slow to the draw. They might not have a profile yet, or they might have a profile and they're not really sharing content. So I feel like that that bar has been raised, and a lot more people have profiles. They have either done that themselves, or they've worked with an agency, or their brand that they represent might even have tools for them that they can utilize. So now it's like, all right, how do I break through the noise and really provide value, especially in a time where there are a lot of fluctuations when it comes, and April can attest to this. So we've got a lot of different things happening right now that are not exactly, I don't want to say they're not normal, but they're not typical for this time of year. And somebody, especially a newer agent or someone that's only been doing this for a few years, may have never experienced this in their career. So what I really want to get into today is giving you a playbook on how you can use social media and use inbound marketing, which I'll break down what that means in a few minutes, to demonstrate that you're a market expert, really giving people the information that helps them sort through the noise that might confuse them. So what's inflation? What's a market correction? What's actually going on in their local real estate community to help them make informed decisions? Even if that decision is, I want to wait 6 to 12 months, then you're able to continually update them on what's going on, and they're going to look to you. Because when I think about this, my example that I always like to use, and no disrespect to Walmart, but when you go to Walmart, a lot of times you can't find a person. You just, they're understaffed, or people wear a lot of hats there. And they might not, if I go to the toy section and I'm looking to buy a present for someone, that person might not know, do they have it in stock? Are they going to get it in? Or really anything about that department. They might have just come over because I needed help. Whereas when you walk into Best Buy, like, first thing that happens when you walk in is, you've got somebody that greets you and they ask you what you're there for. And then if I go to the TV section, I've got the TV expert. If I go to the computer section, I got the computer expert. If I go to the phones, there's usually 3 or 4 people there. And then they have their Genius Bar, right? So that you can, it's their version of a Genius Bar. I don't think they call it that, but Geek Squad, that's what it is. And those people, they just focus completely on tech support. So that's what I'm hoping to share with you today, how you can be the Best Buy of real estate, because people want to work with those that know the most. You might pay a little bit more money at Best Buy than you would at Walmart, but I would feel more comfortable spending an extra $100 on a TV that I know was the TV that I wanted, or the computer that I wanted, knowing that it was the right choice for me. It's not going to break in 5 minutes. And if it does, I have like all the tools I need to utilize it. So I feel like in this market, that's what people want to know, but they also need to feel safe. So they want to feel like the person that they're working with has their back, and that as they're going through this process, even if it is rocky and they're having to make multiple offers, that they have, someone that they can really rely on as a resource. So without further ado, let's kick it off with our next slide here.
I think that's really important too, because it's like, not only are all of the agents out there, which they're well aware, are struggling with getting offers accepted and keeping buyers in the right mindset, right? the market's been shifting on our side, but now with all the news about the Fed increasing the rate, like they're getting it from both sides now, where they're seeing so much volatility in the market, along with fighting to get a house, that it's just important that the agents and myself, that we just keep the temperature where it needs to be, you know, to help them out.
Right. And that can come in the form of just a simple math equation. And a lot of this content, you don't actually have to generate it yourself. You know, somebody like April puts out this kind of content. So borrowing it from your lending partners and sharing it, or borrowing it from the National Association of Realtors, or your local board or association of realtors, or other experts like Tom Ferry puts out a lot of great stuff. Market Leader does a lot of really cool scripts and different things that you can swipe that really will help you look like you're the superstar of information, and you're just applying it to your local market. Okay. So Jimmy Mackin is one of those folks that I absolutely love. I follow him religiously. I get all of his emails. I follow all his Instagram posts. He's the CEO of a company called Curator, and they focus on a lot of this, what I call swipe and steal templates on helping people get information out there about what is going on in the market. So Jimmy was part of the what's the best thing to do in 2022 when Keeping Current Matters did their roundup. Okay, so Keeping Current Matters, I'm going to mention it later on too, is an unbelievable resource for realtors, loan originators, anybody in this space. And also it's great for home buyers and home sellers, because they have tons of content that's made and caters to all of those groups. So the question was, if you want to get more listings in 2022. So the answer was make more investments in your future. So, okay, that's super vague. But Jimmy broke it down and he said, here's the 4 areas where you need to invest. Okay, so you need to invest in your agents and your administrative staff. So that's more directed at folks that are brokers, the broker on record, or if you're a part of a team, maybe investing in professional development. And I would say even coming to this can be considered an investment in yourself, right? Coming to this webinar or watching this replay. Invest in video, content, advertising, and social, obvious stuff. And we're going to talk more about how to do that. Invest in creating a world-class experience. I think this is really important to talk about for a second, because it's visibility plus credibility equals profitability. What that means is today I'm going to teach you how you can take the credible information and make it visible for your audience. But that's really, really important that you have both sides of that equation working for you, because the visible piece, I'm sure when I say this, you probably can think of someone, and April, I'm sure you can too, that is very visible, but nobody wants to work with. Here's a perfect example. So, somebody that when they go into other people's homes, they take pictures of weird stuff and they post it on social media and they're like, look at this thing. And I say to myself, I would never work with that realtor, because I would be like terrified that they're going to take a picture of my stuff and put it on social media. And it just, things like that. You don't know what other people's credibility triggers are. So being visible and credible is very, very important. They have to work together. So credibility, a lot of people are credible. They have tons of information, but they don't share it with the world. They don't do a monthly update. They don't post on social media consistently. They might post, but just not consistently. Maybe they have never taken a stab at doing a video or an infographic, or really just any way that they can really demonstrate their knowledge and expertise beyond just if somebody picks up the phone and calls them or texts them. So we're going to go through the playbook today so that you have the ability to demonstrate your knowledge and expertise, and do that in a way that you're going to reach more than just those arm's length folks. Meaning, if you have a sphere of influence that only has 20 people in it, 30 people, 40 people, with social media and other outlets, you're able to reach not just those 20, 30, 40, 50 people, but their connections and so on. And then with targeting, you can also reach people that don't know you at all, but through their content, the goal here is to really make them feel like, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. I want to follow them. And then to be ready when they are ready. So you're there when they are ready to buy or sell. So us being top of mind, and that's what inbound marketing and social media is incredible at. It's incredible at keeping you top of mind. Invest time in becoming a market expert, because they are going to see headlines. And I see this all day long. I have a tool that mimics human interaction that a lot of my clients utilize. And it allows us to send text messages and voicemail drops and do that without somebody having to physically do one-by-one texting, right? So I see these replies and conversations coming in and popping up all day. And what a lot of people are saying right now, and I'm seeing this from consumers, especially people that have filled out forms on Zillow or Realtor.com in the past. I'm going to wait till prices come down. That's misinformation. Prices are not expected to come down. We're actually supposed to see an appreciation through 2026. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, the interest rate, I'm going to wait till the interest rates come down. Could be waiting a bit. I feel like there's going to be a housing crash. And so I'm going to wait till I can get a good deal. And so talking about what the difference is, right?
Shalimar, don't forget there's a bubble.
Oh yeah, the bubble. Yeah, the crash, the bubble. So what is the difference between a bubble, a crash, a correction? What do all those things mean? And how does inflation, which most people have never even heard that word before, what is inflation? How does that impact? Obviously, you'll see it at the gas pump, but that's not the only place. So these are all opportunities. These are not meant to be looked at as disadvantages or, wow, we've got such a struggle ahead of us. Is it going to be harder to sell real estate than it was in 2020 and 2021? Heck yes. But there are so many opportunities for people that are willing to take on that challenge, because we're going to see a huge vacuum of folks drop out of the real estate industry. We have more realtors right now nationally than we've ever had in the history of realtors. You're going to see a big chunk of those folks are going to drop out. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. And it might not all be because of the market, but that gives us the ability to swoop in and say, okay, well, I'm still here, and I know I've got the tea. I can tell you exactly, what's happening right now, and I'm looking at what economists are saying, and I can tell you what's going to be happening over the next few years, so that you can make informed decisions. Now, can somebody still decide to be like, no, I don't care what you're saying, I disagree, I'm going to wait? Of course, but give them 3 to 6 months, and then keep dripping on them. Because eventually they're going to see, here comes fall, nothing's changed. Winter, nothing's changed. Oh, look, it's the spring market again. And now that house I was looking at is actually $20,000 to $30,000 more than it was the previous year. Think about, the market expert as your unique selling proposition, your ability to differentiate yourself, not just from the realtors outside of your own office, but even just the realtors that work within your office. So how to become a market expert using social media and inbound marketing tools really comes down to having the information, but also being able to display that information and to distribute that information in a easily digestible format. And because we all have the attention span, on average, it's 7 seconds, which is 1 second less than a goldfish. We need to keep that in mind, that when we're giving information, we can't give out these big blobs of text or overly complicated charts, because number one, we want people to be able to look at an image and right off the bat understand what's going on. But also we want to be able to make it easy for people to say, okay, this person's going to point, and maybe if they want to know more, they'll reach out. So graphics, like an infographic that I'm going to show you, and having blogs, videos, texts, and email templates that accompany a graphic can really, really be impactful. Because if somebody's looking at something quick, the image might get their attention, or they might have a preference for how they digest media that isn't always going to be video or isn't always going to be an article. So you want to be able to have a multimedia approach to how you're distributing this information. I just want to break down, for those of you that might be the first time you're ever hearing the term inbound and outbound marketing. So let's just cover this real quick, because this is helpful in any of your social media and marketing endeavors. So inbound marketing really jumped on the scene in the early 2000s. What inbound marketing is all about is attracting people like a magnet with the information you're providing. It's stuff that they would be searching for naturally, and that you happen to be the one that's sharing with them. Outbound marketing is more about hitting people over the head with a hammer, not really caring too much about if the person wanted to get that information, but just casting a wide net and hoping to catch some fish in that net. So things that would fall into the outbound, and don't get me wrong, those things are still effective. They just have a different purpose. So outbound marketing platforms would be billboards, telemarketing, trade shows, paper ads, TV, radio, all of the things that have been around for decades, right? Now, inbound marketing is all the social media platforms, blogging, all the video marketing platforms. It also includes like free guides, ebooks, downloads. One thing that actually can fall into both categories is email marketing, because someone can opt in to an email marketing list and say, yes, I want this. And oftentimes people will have, the good marketers will have a list of what they can opt into, get it really granular and specific. And then other times people will just grab somebody's email, and it doesn't matter if they want your email, get emails from you or not, you're putting them on your list. When you do that latter portion, that's more outbound marketing. Whereas if somebody's opting into your email list and saying, yeah, I love your blog, or I love your videos, or I love your newsletters, but I don't want to have to remember to go to your website to get it, or to go on your social media to see when you post something new. Just send it to my inbox.
Don't you kind of need to do outbound marketing to be able to get the people to do the inbound?
So there are digital ads, right? But the difference between what you can do in a quasi hybrid outbound format, that's a great question, April, on inbound marketing, is that, so if I'm going on Facebook and I want to reach people that don't already know me, I know way more about them and their activity and what they interact with than what somebody might know on that TV, radio, etc. The other thing I love about inbound marketing is that you can change it. So if I have an ad running and it's not performing well, or I'm not reaching anyone that makes sense, I can change that targeting. I can change what it looks like. I can even have multiple ads, multiple variations of the same ad running at the same time to see which one performs better. Whereas when you run a paper ad, that's it. You run it, or you send a postcard campaign, right? I send out the postcard. Like if I go to the postcard company, I'm like, I didn't get any calls. They give you a refund? Nope. Whereas with the digital advertising, even Google ads, YouTube ads, all of those things can be tweaked and edited so that you're really reaching the people that want your content. They just don't know about you yet. So that gives you that visibility piece, and you're going to swoop in with the credibility piece. So I think that's kind of like the main difference between the two. So this happens to me like all the time in my Instagram stories, right? Like they've got my number. A sequin moto jacket came up last night in like 15 different colors. I'm like, okay, my license plate is glitter. So they knew that Shalimar and sequins and moto jacket and hot pink are like, that's an equation that I kind of fit into. So I see stuff like that all the time in my newsfeed. Well, how do they know that? Well, because they're able to track my activity in a non-creepy way, so that they can see that, once I click on that ad, now I've given information to Instagram that that's the kind of stuff I like. Or did I then go follow that account? Okay, well, now I've given information. So Laura has a question here. She says, with digital ads, is there a specific way to target a specific target audience? Yes. So you can do a few different things. You can upload your database in Facebook and you can have it target. That's called a custom audience. If you Google how to create a custom audience, and I can also send a how-to article when I send out the other resources that go along with today's presentation, it walks you through step-by-step how you can import your database so that if any of their phone numbers or email addresses match accounts that are on Facebook or Instagram, you can actually have your ads displayed to them. Now, it's not going to tell you who the individuals are that fit that criteria, but it will definitely hash the data and it will display it to as many people as it can. So that's not, I think you have to have a minimum of 100 contacts in order to upload that at this point. Anything less than that, and it's just not enough data for it to search. The other option that you have is you can target an ad to what's called people who like your page. And that's just going to make sure that more people that follow you on Facebook and Instagram are going to see your content, because without boosting or doing advertising on Facebook and Instagram, only 10 to 16% of your fan base, people that actually follow you, are going to see your content. So a lot of times people are like, well, I've got 500, people on my Facebook business page, and I'm like, great. So 5 people are seeing your posts. I know that sounds terrible, but on average, that's really where it's at, because how these platforms make money, I mean, they make money through ads and boosting. So over the years, the algorithm has been consistently tweaked to be a for-profit company. But that's how these incredible tools stay free. There's no monthly subscription fee. There's no, fee to go on and like somebody or something like that. On Instagram, though, I will tell you that is one outlet that has been less manipulated than Facebook's algorithm. Even though it's owned by Facebook, you have more opportunities to show up on things like the Explore page, to be like recommended to other people. You are rewarded much higher for your good behavior on Instagram than you are on Facebook. And when I say Instagram, I'm talking about an Instagram professional account. If you're posting every day, once a day, the algorithm starts to say, okay, this is a person of substance. Okay. And if you're posting stuff that people are interacting with, if you're using certain hashtags, so there's definitely a nuance to that. And April, that's probably be a great class part 2 for us, is to go into a little bit more about Instagram. Just wanted to do like a 10,000 feet overview of what inbound versus outbound marketing is, because inbound marketing talks with people, outbound marketing talks at people. People that talk at people on social media stand out for the wrong reasons. You know who they are. They don't care about their message. They just want to blast the kahunas off people, right? They don't really care if anybody's interacting with them, or if they wanted to know that information of any kind. They might only post one kind of content. They don't ever vary it up. Those are people that just talk at people. I like to think of it as like when you go to the networking event and you see that one person, you like run the other way because they're just going to grab your ear and just talk about themselves for the next 20 minutes. And they're never going to ask you how you are, what you're up to, or really care. If you're even listening, they just want to talk at a person.
Is there a way to specifically target an audience when you're doing the ads and paying for the advertisement?
Yeah. So that's kind of what we were just going through. So we're talking about uploading that custom audience, uploading your database, and then also doing people who like your page, people who like your page and their friends. So there are targeting options. And then on Google and YouTube, you can target based on keyword. So knowing your audience inside and out, if you're looking up like, a specific area of, say, Minnesota, you can actually put in like real estate, and you could do something broad like real estate Minnesota, or you could do what they call a long tail search query, where it could be, how to buy a house with no money down in Minnesota. There's a lot of opportunities for targeting folks with knowing more about their intention, utilizing those tools.
Okay, so with Facebook, how or what specific, like, how does that look like? You said you can upload up to 100 contacts, and then do you pick keywords? Do you pick a certain audience? I guess I'm not totally understanding, because you said people who like your page too. That's also an option.
Yep. So let me just start off first by differentiating between YouTube, Google, and social media. On Facebook and Instagram, because they got in a little trouble with HUD back in 2018, because they basically were allowing people to discriminate. When you are running an ad, any kind of ad on Facebook and Instagram, you have to choose that you are, and you'll see this in a drop down, that you are a member of the special ads category, and you need to choose that you are in the housing category. This applies for anybody related to real estate and mortgages and housing. So for April, for title attorneys, for realtors, even homeowners insurance agents, anybody that's going to be posting content about real estate, home buying, home selling, anything in that category has to choose housing from that special ads drop down. If you don't, your ad will be either rejected or it'll run for a few days or minutes, and then Facebook will flag it and take it down. There's no getting around this. They use keywords. They know, they can even scan your image. If you feel like you are putting something out there that really doesn't fit that special ads category, you can dispute it. But based on just the fact that you're a realtor, a mortgage lender, whatever, they will automatically put you in that category. They don't really care. You could post a picture of a cat and they'd be like, nope, that's basically how that works. Like, Facebook doesn't give you a playbook for what to choose for interests. And by choosing that special ads category, you automatically are eliminating the ability to choose an age range, a gender. There has to be a radius. So if I put in, say, I don't know, Jordan, Minnesota, it's going to automatically put a 15-mile radius around that area, whether I like it or not. And you can do a state specific one, but know that if you do the state of Minnesota, it's going to add 15-mile radius around the state. You can target multiple states. So I just think, there's a little bit of finesse that needs to happen with that. I mean, again, that could be another webinar in itself, but I can send out some target audience interest that will give you a better idea instead of like trying to rack your brain. One of them is first time buying grant. Like, somebody might not know to type that in. Yeah. And then there's first time home buying grant. Other ones would be like mortgage calculator. Then there's one for property finder. And then if you even target Zillow as an interest, that will pull in people that have been to Zillow or that have visited Zillow's Facebook or Instagram. I mean, so it has, or any of the partner networks that Facebook belongs to, that says, okay, this kind of falls into that same category as Zillow. But you have to know what to put in there because Facebook doesn't tell you. So there's some competitive advantage there too. Even just like I said, today's an investment in your business because you're getting this information that a lot of other realtors don't have and won't have. Where to deliver your message is really going to depend on who your target audience is. I'm happy to report that really every demographic is now on social media. Thank you, COVID. People needed a way to connect and also not be bored out of their minds. So even the GI silent generation, our grandpas and our grandmas even jumped on the social media and video platforms because they had no choice. That's how they started to stay top of mind with their families because they might have not been able to travel and or see them in person. So I still think it's going to depend on who you're trying to target, because if you're looking at a first-time home buyer, the average age of a first-time home buyer right now is 34 nationally. So that's really going to be somebody who's probably on Instagram, potentially on TikTok, maybe has a profile on Facebook, but doesn't pay attention to it as much, has probably a LinkedIn profile that's years ago, but they're probably spending most of their time on Instagram, and they're probably watching YouTube videos and or playing around on TikTok. That kind of stuff is important to know because each platform really caters to certain groups of people. I will tell you though that video is popular across all demographics. So YouTube and Google owns YouTube, is fantastic because it's less about what's their age range and trying to figure that out, because you're literally going after what people are searching. And by what they're searching, you can figure out a lot. If I'm searching how to buy your house for the first time, well, okay, then it doesn't matter how old I am. I could be 55, but I'm searching it. Now you have the ability to target me. When to deliver your message, again, is going to depend on where you're spending your time. So we'll send out the slide deck that goes along with this presentation as well. For those that are watching the replay of this, it's going to be a link with the replay. And that way you can, kind of, all right, well, I'm going to know I'm participating on Facebook or Instagram. So this is the times that I should be posting. All right, so here is our playbook. How to deliver your message and demonstrate that you're a market expert really comes down to a few things. One is to create a local market stat graphic. Two is to create a 1 to 3-minute market update video. Okay, and that's based off of the infographic. The third piece is a market stats blog. And the fourth piece could be a fourth and fifth piece, is an email and text update, drawing people's attention to the graphic. Now, if this is too much, the beauty of this is you could say, Shal, you're asking too much of me. I haven't done any of this stuff. I'm just gonna do the infographic, or I'm just gonna do the video, or I'm just gonna do the blog. All of these things would still be impactful independently. Don't try to struggle to write down the instructions or what the message is here, because again, like I said, this is going to be part of the resource links. But that's an example of the market stat infographic, and it's a Canva template. And for those of you that haven't used Canva before, it allows you to be a graphic designer without being a graphic designer. So you're able to add in your logo, you're able to change your colors so it matches your brand, and add your contact info in almost like you're using a Word doc. So very, very easy. And what I've provided to you is how to fill that out. Also, the copy that is going to go along with it when you go and post it on social, okay? And I've even included the hashtags. This is making the video. So this is a step-by-step on how to set up the video, how to figure out, okay, how you're going to keep people's attention, how to put together the message. And then I even have a template here. So like the first one is kind of like a filled out one. And then this one would allow you to kind of either print it off, or you could, kind of mimic it online, where you can fill in, what are some of the things that you're going to say, kind of like make up a mini script. Now, the market stats blog is basically going to be, now you can embed your video, you can embed graphic and just write some additional information. Or you can forego the graphic, forego the video, and just write the information. But no matter what you feel like doing, I've given you exactly what you're going to break out in the blog. And all of this information can typically be found on MLS, or you can look into the National Association of Realtors, or like I said, really, really high probability that your local board or association puts out this content on a monthly basis. At minimum, at the state level, they usually do their own infographic and their own studies. You do have to look for it though, but once you find it, then it's like, okay, well, I know where to find it, and it typically comes out on the same day every month. I usually see it about the 10th, even across the country. I see usually around the 10th of the month is when that gets updated. If you're using Keeping Current Matters, you're going to go with a national forecast. They do put out their market update on the 10th each month as well. And they're, like I said, an incredible resource, but they only go at the national level. They do break it down into, in the country into quadrants, but they're not going to be like, okay, in New East. So, but it's still really good data. So these are the questions that you'd want to answer and put in the body of your blog. And it really kind of helps explain or emphasize what you're already sharing if you're going to be including that infographic, which is the first item that I shared. And then just more stuff, more how to here, more places where you can get the information sources. Here's a swipe and steal template for an email. You can also utilize it as a text. And the template actually, in the highlighted sections, it tells you, okay, how to make this your own. So you don't want to copy it word for word. You want to apply it to whatever area that you work in, as well as whatever data you discovered. So if you happen to see that, inventory's up in your area, you're not going to use a template that says, well, we know you're struggling with inventory. You'd want to kind of shout it from the rooftops that there's been an improvement. I hope that's the case for you. Here is another one. So there's two different ones. And then just a reminder about some of the tools that I mentioned. I think I only really focused on Keeping Current Matters, but I know April is a huge fan of BombBomb. So BombBomb is
guys, it's so easy.
Yeah.
So easy.
Yep. BombBomb is a great tool to deliver video and email content. You can record videos right within the app and then share it. You can also download it and use it in other spots. You can even upload it to YouTube. It's actually a very popular tool among the real estate community. They even have templates that are catered to realtors because of its popularity. And then another one of my favorites is Homebot. And now Homebot isn't necessarily going to be something you'd use your infographic and stuff and send it out through there, but you can do it to home owners and home buyers about what is going on in their market. And it does it automatically. It's $25 a month for up to 500 contacts. You cannot get access to the home seller feature, the home buyer feature, unless you have a loan officer partner. But the home seller feature, or the home owner feature, I should say, is available if you just want to use it independently. And it has an 88% open rate on average. So people really want to know what their house is worth. And I like to think of this example, like even if you're not a big fan of Zillow and Zillow sent you a report and said, I know how much your house is worth, you'd open it. you would open it. Or I know how much your neighbor's house is worth. You definitely open it.
I have been doing Homebot all year. It's been great. Like you said, it's a huge open rate. And if any of you want to do it, I'm happy to partner up with you. Like you said, it's got to get connected to an account like mine. And then it's only $25, but it's a great touch point with your database, your existing clients, or if you're a new agent, like your sphere of influence contact list, your friends, your family. It's once a month. It's not invasive. It's information people really want. So feel free to reach out to me and I can give you more info on that.
And it tells you way more than just what your house is worth. Like people can figure out if they wanted to rent their house, what they could potentially get. If they pay extra, how that would change. On the buyer side, it actually syncs with YLOPO, so they can actually do a search right within Homebot instead of maybe going to Zillow or Trulia, where they might stumble upon another agent, kind of keeping them in the family, if you will. I think Laura has a question. She wants to know what the difference is between Homebot and Constant Contact is. Well, on Constant Contact, you have to create all your own content, and Homebot is specific tool to deliver reports. You don't actually have to put in anything other than the person's name, email, and address. And if they are a home buyer, it would be like they would either input or you'd input where they're looking. And it will track that data for them over the time. And it goes out on, independently of you having to do anything every month. What you can do, though, is for the different sections, you can record videos that go along with those individual sections to, draw people's attention to what it is. And like I said, you can also do a video blast from time to time to anybody that's in Homebot with a market update. So huge advantage over just like a traditional email marketing software. And listen, I'm all about like the how to improve your curb appeal and how to make a mimosa stuff and all that stuff. Super cute, but that's really fluff. That's filler content. Especially in the market that we're in right now, people need hard facts in order to make decisions. So if you send me how to make a mimosa, you're top of mind with me. Like I didn't forget you this month. Like I know you exist, but if I'm trying to make this decision about should I list my house or not, I'm like, I got that mimosa thing, but I might not put two and two together, So make that connection for people. Make it easy for them to know that you're the person to turn to. Nothing is more frustrating for a realtor than looking outside your window and seeing a house for sale by somebody else. That's why stuff like Homebot, Keeping Current Matters, or just having a routine like this playbook I've laid out makes such an impact, because when you get to that hour of the month that you have, you know exactly what you need to do. There is no like, wait, should I post a dog photo? What was I supposed to do again? It's like, okay, this is what I do. I make the graphic. Okay, if I want to do a video, do the blog. None of it's rocket science. It's just kind of being there. A lot of it is just showing up and being there, doing the things that other people won't do. They might not even be hard things, just doing them. So like April will record her videos in batches. It's like setting aside that time and having that available. That is, if she records 10 videos, well, she just probably blew like probably 4,000 loan officers right off the face of the planet, because they might have done 10 videos either in the whole year or in the last 3 years, or no videos.
She jokes about this because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm going to do 3 videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Figure out your schedule. Shalimar will tell you I'm not the girl. I'm like, you got to give me a list of 10 things. Okay.
Yeah.
Because then I get into video mode. Okay. Where I'm like, okay, I'm prepared. I'm going to do the videos, you guys. And when you get in the mode of doing a video and you hammer a bunch out, it does not take that long. Like it probably took me an hour to do 10 videos, re-recording a couple, because of course you mess up and things like that. And the trick of the trade is if you're doing it at home, you run home, you change your shirt, run to your closet,
have the shirts ready.
It's a new day. If Steve Harvey can do it on Family Feud and tape a week worth of shows in one day, I can tape videos in one day too.
Just some contact information if you'd like to learn more about what my agency does, what I do. You can certainly reach out to me. Otherwise, all of this content is going to be here for a replay. So watch it once, twice, pause it, fast forward to the part that you care about. And if you even do one thing, and I always say this, take one to done. Pick one thing that you learned today and take it all the way to done. And you're already like ahead of 95% of people that go to webinars and seminars and workshops, because sadly, 90% of people go to those things and they do nothing. Like this statistically proven, they do nothing with the information. So you already invested the time in either watching this live or watching the replay. So pick one thing that you picked up and take it to done. And we're here as a resource. April and I are here as a resource. If you have questions, if you get tripped up and, maybe you're following these steps and you're like, wait, I just hit a roadblock. Don't give up. That's what we're all about at my company. And I know April, that's important for her too. That's why she, brands herself as the straightforward and creative mortgage pro, right? It's like, we've got to don't give up. There's a way through it, around it. It might not be today, but we're going to get it done.
Obviously you're newer agents, you got some time. It's good to learn some of these skills. I've been doing mortgages since 99. So Shalimar is amazing. Like you guys reach out, talk to her. She has a ton of different plans. If you're somebody who has been around and this is good information because you need to do it, but let's just be real, you're not going to find the time to do it. Hire the person that's going to help you, because this is not a want. This is a need in today's society, especially with millennials who are not even the young kids anymore, right? We're already on to the next generation. So definitely hope you guys got something valuable out of it. Shalimar, thank you, because Lord knows I cannot talk about all this. This is why I got you.
You are very welcome, and I thank our attendees, and I'm looking forward to hearing some feedback. I'd love to hear anybody that actually takes this and utilizes it, and I'd love to hear some great feedback about how it made a difference for them. That would be awesome.
Perfect. And then lastly, guys, these lunch and learns I do every single month. It is just one of my things to give back. So beyond calling me, if you're interested in Homebot or have questions about the lovely market right now, or the fact that Fed just raised the rate, it's going to be the second Wednesday from 2 to 3 Central Time. Different subject matters. Some will be real estate associated, some are business associated. So I hope to see you at the next one or one of the other events that I have throughout the month.
Next one's on July 13th.